We are going to bring in Ken Belkin, a criminal defense attorney. Ken, you have us.
Hi, how are you? Good to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for being on the show. There's so many questions swirling around this big development today because, as we know, we've all been waiting. This search for Brian has been going on for quite a while now, specifically in the Carlton Reserve. Now coming out, we've got a bite. Something has come up, and we're not sure yet. It's not confirmed that it is Brian, but it does, make our heads spin a little bit, start thinking of the possibilities with this case. So coming with your background as a criminal defense attorney, what does this do to the investigation into the murder of Gabby Petito?
Well, it's looking like we might never get to a point where we're picking a jury in the case of People versus Brian Laundrie. They seem to have found human remains, and they seem to have found a backpack that belonged to him and a notebook that belonged to him. So effectively, if it is him, the criminal case stops there, and he's going to have to be judged by a higher power.
And so I'm going to bring up just again the live look outside of Northport right there, because the focus has been on the family members, Chris and Roberta Laundrie, the mother and father who have assisted in this search. What kind of role are they going to be playing in this investigation? What questions are they asking their criminal defense attorney right now, probably?
Well, look, the role they played in the investigation is one thing. The role they played in Brian Laundrie's escape and the fact that he was able to evade justice is another thing. And they could very well be charged as an accessory after the fact to the homicide of Miss Petito. And really, there's no real clear indication of how much they participated, but certainly they covered for him on some level. Whether or not that rises to criminal culpability, that remains to be seen. But I have to imagine that some enterprising young prosecutor is going to be taking a very hard look at Mr. Laundrie's parents.
So when you heard of the news today, Ken, what were your first thoughts? I
thought, well, number one, I won't be getting a call from Brian Laundrie to represent him. But beside from that, I thought, it's sad because if he was guilty, his death is really the easy way out. And I would have preferred to see him, rot in a prison cell, although in the state which he would have been charged for the murder, they do have the death penalty. So he could have very well faced the death penalty, but he really took the coward's way out.
Does the case continue, though? Because we haven't heard from the Petito family. I imagine they want more answers. What happens to this?
Well, look, they're going to investigate further to determine the cause of death, to determine whether or not Mr. Laundrie was in some way responsible for her death, if he had committed a homicide. And they're going to take, as I said before, they can't get him anymore if he's dead. But they're going to take a long, hard look, I am sure, at the parents and anyone else that might have aided him. He was on the run for, over 30 days? Someone knew something. Someone helped him along the way. He did not evade a federal arrest warrant on his own. Someone assisted him.
I'm curious because Stephen Bertolino is the family attorney for the Laundries, and he has really been the only access the media has had to the Laundries. And he's just released statements. He's, talked about sometimes they've gone back and forth on the timeline of when they last saw Brian and other aspects of this case. What do you think his role has been in all of this? What are your thoughts as a criminal defense attorney as to how well he has done in representation?
Well, I'm not going to critique what he did, but I will say this. He's got the right idea. You don't want your clients making statements. You don't want them speaking to the press. You don't want them speaking to anyone unless it's through their counsel. Because as we all know, what you say today might come back to bite you in the butt tomorrow. And if they are charged eventually, any statements they made leading up to their arrest, maybe in the press, maybe to investigators over the course of the investigation, those statements are going to be displayed on full view should they go to trial. And if those statements don't match up with the testimony they give at trial, you better believe a prosecutor is going to draw the jury's attention to those inconsistencies, the difference in those statements, and is going to say, hey, you can't believe a word they say because their story has changed.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the Laundrie parents out there earlier this morning as they aided in the search for Brian and took authorities to locations they thought that he might be found. So you can see they've had major involvement in all of this every step of the way. And I kind of hinted to it, I mentioned before, they've gone back and forth on the last time that they saw him. So I just wonder, you know, what this court case could potentially look like in the future if there is enough evidence to bring them into this somehow.
Well, look, let's first be clear. There's two different standards of evidence that you're dealing with. There's the evidence needed to make an arrest and start a criminal case, and there's the evidence needed to convict. And all that's needed to commence a case is probable cause. And probable cause, you know, we hear that term thrown around a lot, but all it really means in layman's terms is that there's enough evidence that probably a crime was committed. And I think, you know, look, I'm not a prosecutor on this case, but I do think it's highly suspicious that they had some contact with him. I would want to know what exactly was said to him before he went on the lam. What, if anything, they gave him? What, if any, statements they might have made to investigators that might have thrown them off the trail? Because clearly he had some assistance, whether it be from them, whether it be from someone else, whether it be from the stolen debit cards he was using. He had some assistance, and we need to get the answers to those questions. One, who assisted him and how much assistance they gave him. And if it was enough that rises to the level of criminal culpability or probable cause that probably a crime was committed, they should be charged. That's the only way the Petito family is going to get justice.
Yeah, the search had been in the Carlton Reserve for several weeks, and then it kind of stalled for a little bit there, and we weren't really told why by the FBI and by Northport Police. So there's still questions around the timing of all this, because it's been a while and it seemed like they had heavy forces going out, and then all of a sudden today they come up with this major evidence and they say that it was underwater. Now it's not as much, so they could see it more. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, we don't know how much of the human remains. I haven't seen any reports of what specific human remains were found, but certainly if it's soft tissue, you have to imagine that there could be decay. I mean, some of the soft tissue could have been eaten by alligators or what have you in the Florida Reserve. But there might be some teeth or bones or some form of DNA that they can trace back to him, well, to the identity of whoever's remains it is, and try and determine who it is. But it seems like all signs are pointing that Mr. Laundrie met an untimely end in a reserve in Florida.
Sure. Anything specifically that you're going to be watching? Any next steps in this?
I think dental records, that's what's really going to identify this body. You know, teeth are not highly digestible, so they could, you know, this is disgusting, but if he has been eaten by alligators, the teeth could be present in fecal matter, and they probably will come up with the teeth at some point and try to match it to identify who it is.
Okay. Ken Belkin, criminal defense attorney, we appreciate you joining us here on the show, giving us a little more clarity when it comes to the legal aspect of all of this and what's to come.
Thanks for having me.